The Haunted Mask, Chapter 13. Carly Beth Fro was in the doorway. She could hear her mother's footsteps approaching in the hallway. "Let me see you, dear," Miss Caldwell called. Did the costume fit?" Maybe I should tell her about my change of plans, Carly Beth thought guiltily. I would have said something, but I didn't want to hurt Mom's feelings. Now she's in for a shock, and she's going really angry when she sees I've borrowed her sculpture. She's going to make me put it back on the mantle. She's going to ruin everything. "I'm kind of in a hurry, Bob," Carly Beth called in her deep, raspy, her voice deep and raspy inside the mask. I'll see you later, okay?" She pulled open the front door. "You can wait 1 second while I see my costume on you," her mother called. She rounded at the corner and came into view. "I'm stuck," Carly Beth thought with a groan. "I'm caught." The phone rang, and the sound echoed loosely inside Carly Beth's mask. Her mother stopped and turned back to the kitchen. "Oh, darn, I better answer that. It's probably your father calling from Chicago." She disappeared back to the kitchen. "I'll have to see you later, Carly Beth. Be careful, okay?" Carly Beth breathing a sigh of relief. Saved by the bell, she thought. Balancing the head on the broomstick, she hurried out the door. She closed the door behind her and jogged down the front yard. It had become a clear, cool night. A pale half moon rose over the bare trees. Fat brown leaves swirled around her ankles as she headed to the sidewalk of the plan and was to meet Chuck and Steve in the front of Sabrina's house. Carly Beth couldn't wait. Her head bobbled and bounced on the broomstick as she ran. The house on the corner had been decorated for Halloween. Orange lights ran along the top of the stoop. Two large smiling pumpkin cutouts stood beside the doorway. A cardboard skeleton had been propped up at the end of the front and walk. "I love Halloween," Carly Beth thought. Happily, she crossed the street onto Sabrina's block. On the other Halloween night, she had been frightened. Her friends were always playing pranks, playing mean tricks on her. Her last Halloween, Steve had slipped a real-looking rubber rat into her trick-or-treat bag. When Carly Beth had reached into the bag, she felt something soft and hairy. She pulled the rat and shrieked at the top of her lungs. She was so scared she spilled her candy all over the driveway. Chuck and Steve thought it was a riot. What did Sabrina? They always spoiled Halloween for her. They thought it was so hilarious to scare Carly Beth and make her scream. Well, this year I won't be the one screaming," she thought. "This year I'll be the one making everyone else scream." Sabrina's house was at the end of the block. As Carly Beth hurried toward it, the bare retreat limbs shivered above her. The half moon disappeared behind a heavy cloud, and the ground darkened. The head on the broom handle bounced and nearly fell off. Carly Beth slowed her pace. She glanced up at the head, shifting at her on the broomstick. The eyes on the sculpted head stared straight ahead as if watching for trouble. In the darkness, as the head looked real, the shadows moved over it as Carly Beth walked under the bare tree limbs, making the eyes and mouths appear to move. Hearing laughter, Carly Beth turned across the street. A group of trick-or-treaters was invading a bright lit front porch. In the yellow porch light, Carly Beth saw a ghost, a mutant, Ninja Turtle, a Freddy Krueger, and a princess in a giant pink ball gown and tinfoil crown. The kids were little. Two mothers watched them from the driveway. Carly Beth watched them get their candy. Then she walked the rest of the way to Sabrina's house. She climbed the front stoop, stepping into a white triangle of light from the porch light. She could hear voices from inside the house. Sabrina shouted something to her mother. A TV on beyond the living room. Carly Beth adjusted her mask with her hand. She straightened the grass-fanged mouth, but then she checked to make sure the head was balanced on the broomstick. She reached to ring Sabrina's doorbell, then stopped. Voices behind her. She turned around, squinted into darkness. Two costume boys were approaching, shoving each other playfully on the sidewalk. Chuck and Steve, I'm just in time, Collie Beth thought happily. She leaped from the stoop and crouched behind a low green shrub. Okay, guys, she thought, and equally her heart pounding, get ready for a scare.